okay, this is the first idea that I had.
Okay.
It's not good, but I'm going to do the thing where I say a not good one, and then someone else can have a better one because I've said the one that sucks. You folks come into my room to record the episode, but I've laid out all my pants all over the ground, and I tell you that you have to navigate my pants labyrinth, and you say, no, David, it's not that. We're recording about Pan's Labyrinth, and I say, oh no, what a kerfuffle I have done.
Point of order.
Yes.
You said this was a bad idea.
Running fastest, kill outfit. It's futuristic, like Carnegie the Magnificent. Rewind your VCR, rewind your cassette. Nintendo pilots, flying up ahead. Captain's log, John Luke, Bogard. Boomerang, sea of life, the weapon covered shine. Out on your street tonight. Don't matter how loud you gotta shout it. Out on your street tonight.
Now, guys, where does the schwa come into play?
Well, this is, scientists will debate.
They will.
Scientists specifically will debate
Classic
about the
scientists.
schwa.
The schwa.
The schwa. The schwa.
Do you guys remember learning about the schwa and then then never again?
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like I was gaslit to believe there was one,
I mean,
and now I don't think it exists.
how many things in school did we learn about and then just never talk about again, and it's almost like it didn't happen? That's the entire premise of the show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Because it's basically like, hey, do you remember this thing that we brought up to you like a couple times in school and never happened to you again?
It's
Like,
true.
You never had to remember it for the rest of your life?
But it's like a letter that's not a letter.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
Well, it's like the Interrobang. It's the exclamation
you don't
point
have to
question
share your freaking porn search.
mark. My favorite porn category, Interrobang. I mean, these days, you just need a niche.
Exactly.
Especially now that OnlyFans is not doing...
R.I.P. Just for fans. Run by sex workers, queer people. It's good. Not OnlyFans. Fuck them.
Just like, man, way to be like, hey, you know the thing that the only thing people know about us and know us for? We're not going to
come
do that
to
anymore.
our site for our entire market.
Apparently, it's only for unverified accounts, which I guess is to fight the like revenge porn stuff.
Yeah.
But like, so they say like you just have to, So you have to like submit an ID, but like, I don't know.
But sex work isn't decriminalized.
No.
Like,
They also need to be way clearer on that if that's the case.
Yeah.
yes. And like what non-sexual nudity is, because I've seen that floating around too in their terms of like their code of like, what is it? The agreement that you make when you sign on. You're like terms of something.
Service.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Service. That probably.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And what sucks is like the head, whatever that guy's name is. He's not the head of OnlyFans, but he's like the one who's basically been saying, no, MasterCard's mad at
The
us.
only fan.
The only fan himself basically said like, they'll be okay. The adult film industry is resilient. And it's like, well, yeah,
no.
sort of, but also they shouldn't have to be. Like, what do you mean? You're just going to displace people and be like, no, they'll figure it out.
When you kick them away from like safe, legitimized spaces, that's when the dark shit happens you're apparently trying to avoid.
Well, plus, and not enough people who consume porn, which is just about everybody in America. Let's just be honest. Anyone with an internet connection has at least seen some porn. And a lot of them, it was intentional. We'll just say it like that.
We'll just say it like that.
Don't consider how much the porn industry has lost money despite its explosion in access and popularity.
Yep.
And how John Ronson actually did 2 seasons of a podcast focusing on the porn industry. The first was about sort of how Pornhub and the various sites owned by the people who own Pornhub have basically destroyed the revenue streams of just countless people in that industry. And then the second one was about a porn performer who committed suicide because of online bullying, and sort of talking about the sort of stigma that people face in the industry, and also even within the industry, how people talk to each other, things like that. So really interesting shows. I can't remember the titles of either of them, but John Ronson's a very popular author. You can find them pretty
he's
easily.
out there.
But
Dang, that's cool. I'm glad you did that.
But yeah, covering that stuff, it's kind of remarkable how devastating the internet was to an industry that we often think of as like the thing that made the internet the internet.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of wild.
Also won both format wars between beta and VHS, and then also DVD, or also HD video and Blu-ray.
Yep.
HD DVDs.
Yep.
God. Sorry, Xbox.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Backed the wrong
Sorry,
horse.
Microsoft.
Well, they only half backed the wrong horse because it was an entirely different thing. You had to buy extra.
That was
extra drive. It was,
it
so
was like
stupid.
they backed the wrong horse, but they also made sure that horse didn't run for the first half of the race, and you had to like pay extra to watch that horse go. Like, bad move, Microsoft. Bad move. Maybe not the way to do it.
No.
Huh.
Welcome to Contextual Deviance. My name is Christian Hagen. Each episode, as you can probably tell by now, we watch a movie, and then we talk about that movie through a series of randomly generated critical contexts provided to us via our contextual computer. We don't know how we're going to talk about the movie we're talking about until this computer tells us how we're going to talk about it. That's basically the premise of the show. And joining me on this adventure of fantasy and magic are my dearest friends and co-hosts, Misters Matthew Bond.
Hey, it's weird we didn't have pre-show banter this time, huh?
And David Gutchie.
Put a plug in it. That's my new catchphrase.
I like
It's
it.
good.
Yeah,
It's
I was
good.
inspired by the big ship, the Ever Given, that blocked all trade and lost
in
the
the
world
in the
tens
Suez
of
Canal.
billions of
Was
dollars.
it the Suez Canal?
Something like that. The
that sounds
real
right.
big one that's real important, and that ship was
Was
just
the
like
Panama Canal?
no, not
No,
Panama.
not Panama.
So the
Definitely
Suez Canal.
Couldn't have been
That's the only other canal.
There's a couple canals. There's Canal Street, there's the Panama Canal, and there's Suez. And I'm pretty sure it went up in there and plugged it up. And I encourage everyone, this is the year of, maybe next year. Next year's the year of plugging it up. Just put yourself in something. You know?
Put yourself in something,
Stop
man.
the flow of something.
Stop
Doesn't
the
matter
flow
what
of
it is. Just end something. That's
Fascism.
Yeah. Plug it up.
Hey, speaking of ending fascism, that's a perfect transition into the film we watched this week, surprisingly.
Yeah.
The film we watched for this episode is none other than 2006's Academy Award-winning film from Guillermo Del Toro, master of fantasy and horror and also drama. And the film is called Pan's Labyrinth.
Man, I loved it when he finally got his Oscar. He went up on screen and it was like the little words at the bottom said Guillermo Del Toro, master of fantasy and horror and also drama. And he was like, that's me down there. See on the prop? That's me.
Do you know, by the way, what Oscar this movie won?
Best girl.
Was it wardrobe?
Nope.
And it wasn't special effects? Like practical?
No. I mean, I know. I think it was just one. I think
could
it
it
won
have been
just one.
soundtrack?
Was it original screenplay?
No. Cinematography.
Oh,
okay.
well, good
I mean,
for you.
And I
liked
remember
it.
that specifically because it beat Children of Men.
Oh,
That's a little
Dude, that's
weird,
tough.
actually.
That's
'cause
very weird.
Children of Men has some iconic cinematography. This
Yeah.
movie has good cinematography.
And it lost Best Foreign Language Film, I believe, to The Lives of Others. I was thinking about that
that
while the movie was
seems
going.
too bad to me.
It's very strange.
That's
Yeah.
a bummer to me.
That
But
is too-
whatever.
that is too bad.
But
Guillermo
hey, I mean, the
got
Oscars
his
don't
due.
matter. It's just
don't.
like trivia that I remember.
It's trivia.
It's trivia. But yeah, the Pan's Labyrinth, it's about it's set in the Spanish Civil War of the 1930s, where the fascists have taken control, and a young girl and her mother, who is pregnant, the mother is not the little girl, are transported to a remote village to live with a captain of the fascist military, Captain Vidal, who is marrying this girl's mother,
Yeah, very cool.
and he wants her to have a son, and the girl is like into fantasy stuff, and she doesn't want to be there because it sucks. And then
You missed an important detail. The captain is not the little girl's father.
oh, that's right. She does. We have to be very clear about that
captain's
because I
not
don't
my
know if
father.
the movie was clear about this, but the captain is not the girl's father.
No, it was a little disappointing how confusing that was. Really could have used more clarification about who was whose father.
Anyway, if you're wondering what Guillermo del Toro's stance on fascism was, the captain in this movie is one of the most despicable villains in the history of film.
Yeah.
And so
completely unredeemable
just
in every possible way.
Just awful.
He did wear those cool little sunglasses though that one time.
Cool sunglasses, that's true. He did look like an anime character.
I
as
do
Bond
stand that look for him.
It's a good look.
Pretty into it.
If you have to have a look, not a bad one to have.
I think David initially pointed out the anime character look.
Yeah, which like 100%. And he doesn't look like an anime character the rest of the movie. No. It's just it's like, well,
it's
get my
the
train
little sunglasses
investigation
and then
clothes.
the gloves and the long black coat that he hasn't put his arms through. It's just draped over his shoulder.
And his middle part from slick back hair, which he doesn't have in the rest of the scenes. Like he got dressed up as an anime character to go investigate a train explosion.
He does look remarkably like Crispin Glover's character in the Charlie's Angels movies.
Very true.
Specifically.
But enough about costumes.
So Pan's Labyrinth is the film we're doing. It's a lovely little film.
So lovely.
Oh, and then there's fantasy stuff that happens too.
Yeah,
the little girl becomes well, whatever. There's princess trials and stuff. Who knows? It's a little ambiguous.
Was her brain just firing different synapses, and it was all just the
Jacob's Ladder scenario?
Yeah, where she died the whole time.
Well, we shall determine that and other things, assuming that the computer asks us to.
True.
Do we want to let the computer tell us where to go from here?
What if we take it into our own hands?
No.
We overthrow the computer.
No.
Let's Andrew Yang this and
I think
overcome automation.
I don't want to Andrew Yang anything.
I don't want to Andrew Yang anything yet.
I saw somebody with
this.
I don't know if I've ever seen a car that has just one Andrew Yang bumper sticker, by the way. If I ever see one, there's like 4.
Yep.
That's like the 4-leaf clover. A car that has just one Andrew Yang.
One Andrew Yang bumper sticker.
That's incredible.
They're making up for all of the other people who don't give a shit about Andrew Yang. It's like the people who hoard guns.
Yep.
It's like there's so many guns in this country in the hands of very few people. It's just all the Andrew Yang bumper stickers went to a few people and they hoard them.
There's someone out there with one tattoo, and they're the same person that drives the car with one Andrew Yang bumper sticker.
I have one tattoo.
I also only have one tattoo.
Because it's expensive. I don't have enough money to get another one.
I have just none tattoo.
Oh, nice.
You have that tattoo of that nun.
You're the nun from the movie The Nun.
It's my whole back.
The nun from the movie The Nun and from the movie Space Jam.
By the way, I was going to say, I'm fairly certain. They nenever said, but I'm fairly certain that the nun in Space Jam was the nun from the movie The Nun.
Yeah,
okay, good. I'm not the only. Okay. Because it's fucking weird.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to a context about Pan's Labyrinth.
Superlatives. Who won, who lost, and why?
Superlatives. Who won, who lost, and why?
Yes.
Well, I think we have to start this category the way we start this category every time. It's with everyone's favorite category, best hair.
Ophelia.
Yeah.
Ophelia had
She's got really good hair. And mostly everyone else's hair is unremarkable or kind of gross. Like a lot of the fascist hair is just kind of slick back, boring, and a lot of the... And there's a lot of hats. You don't even see a lot of the hair.
Yeah,
mostly short. Too. Like even the women's hair is often like done up. It just nobody looks like, oh, what a bad hair choice, except for Captain Vidal looks pretty bad in that train investigation scene.
Yeah,
but Ophelia's hair is cool.
Yeah, and she goes through some shit, and it's still pretty immaculate.
Yeah, it's like a nice little bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the right length too. Like if it was too much longer, I feel like it would be harder to manage. And if it was too much shorter, I feel like it would be a little bit less. It would have a little bit less drapery.
Yeah, I actually want it would be a little less like the main character of Mad Men. You mean?
Yes, it would be a little less Don Drapery.
What I'm wondering is if that was actually a costume choice. Like I'm kind of interested in. Okay, so she's gonna she has to look like a sort not really rich little girl, but like a nice little girl. But also she's gonna have to go through all these adventures, and so how short can we make her hair without making it too short? But also we want her to have kind of long hair, but it can't be too long because then it would get in the mud and whatever.
Well, I also think all of the adult women in the film have very long hair, or just hair that just drapes in a very long way. Like they don't. It's either tied up in a bun or it's just very long and draped over the shoulders. And I get the sense that her hair is cut shorter and she's wearing those heavy boots. It's kind of like, or no, she's not wearing heavy boots. But you know what I mean? Like I feel like she's doing. That was a complete. I was thinking.
What I mean.
Okay, because as I said in the movie, that she kind of looks like Natalie Portman in Leon the Professional, and that's I keep getting them mixed up in my head now, which is not the right movie.
Not helpful.
Not helpful to this conversation. Again, both great child acting performances in movies with a lot of gratuitous violence.
Oh yeah, that's an important comparison. So, is this movie Leon the Professional? I used to say, but that's not the context we're doing.
That would be a very weird context. Yeah. But then again, I don't know.
Hey, who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? But
what about worst hair? Since we're on it, is it his train investigation hair? Is Vidal's?
It's like the most remarkable. I think,
it was offensive to me.
Yeah.
I got hurt.
Like I'm willing to just give that guy worst. I
got it.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Worst hair. The one they pulled out of that bag after they smashed that guy's nose.
Off.
Yeah.
They were too small for cutting up, so they had to make stew out of them. They were pretty bad. It's canonical.
Yeah.
It's in the text, Christian.
You have to accept it. It's in the text. You have to accept it.
Fine, I accept it. It's in the text. I almost said it's in the text. It's in the text. I accept it.
Fine, I accept it. It's in the text.
Fine, it's in the text. Let me go, please.
People arguing with a postmodernist.
I just want to see my family. Someone puts a gun to the head of postmodernist.
Say it's in the text.
Say it's in the text. It's in the text.
Oh, the real intent matters. God damn it.
Text.
Wow.
So I've got one that's pretty easy. I don't know. The counter example would be the hardest one.
Okay.
But the easiest award to give in the entire movie is worst hat.
Yes.
And it's the guy who's handing out the bread.
Yes.
So
dumbest hat.
I don't even
that
get
guy.
that hat.
It's so incomprehensible.
It's a backwards shoe or something.
Like,
I don't understand.
It must be based on actual history or like an actual thing, which I'm sorry, but you guys look dumb.
Like, just make it different. Why
dumb.
is only his hat backwards and weird and bad?
It's like somebody put part of a horse saddle upside down and stuck it on this dude's head, and he's like, "No, I like it this way."
No, it's actually cool. It's good. I'm the bread guy.
I'm owning it. I'm the bread guy.
I'm the bread guy. This is my bread hat.
Yeah,
it makes me
I read
unique.
the bread.
I read the bread. He gives the speech about how great the bread is and how wonderful it will be for your family.
Mm-hmm. I've got one.
Wait,
not for hat.
Not for hat.
Yeah, most improved would go to the fawn's teeth.
Most improved
because those teeth are nasty at the beginning. They're like black and like super all over the place. Mm-hmm. At the end, they're like pearly white and mostly straight.
Yeah. Well, that's what he was doing off screen.
Yeah, he was going to the dentist.
He was just getting them worked on, baby.
Getting that work.
Yeah, he's putting
This
it in.
is the second movie in a row where a character has really disgusting teeth at the beginning and gets their teeth fixed by the end.
Whoa! Oh man, that's how we tie them together. That's why this one was next specifically.
The Fawn did have some real mojo.
Oh my God. Some of the like weird moves he would do.
He held up his finger a little bit once while squatting.
In front of a little girl's bed while she's sleeping. That's not weird.
A big fan of that, Mr. Fawn.
Hey, Mr. Fawn, could you not?
Hey, Mr. Fawn.
Hey, Mr. Fawn.
I think the least improved is Captain Vidal.
Captain Vidal.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, baby.
He just dug it in. He dug in the whole way. Yep. No question.
He couldn't he's fixing that watch. It's still janky and busted. It's still he still got the crack on the glass.
Looks like shit. Yeah. The guy's useless.
No, he's absolutely
worthless.
And he has this moment at the end of the movie where I was like, oh, the whole movie I've been thinking, this guy just keeps digging himself into a bigger and bigger pit of being totally unlikable asshole. And then he gives away his son and he's like, hey, my son. And I'm like, oh, he cares about his son's life. That's nice. He doesn't just like break the baby in half or something because he's a terrible man. But then he's like, tell my son that I was amazing and super cool and I have a big dick. And everyone was like, no, we're not going to do that.
It's like, no,
bam.
fuck you.
And so even him wanting his son to live on was just him wanting him to live on.
Yep.
Which is just like, oh, cool. Even in this selfless act, you couldn't actually be selfless.
And I mean, like the way he talks about it from the jump, he cares so much about the fact that it's going to be a son.
Yeah.
And that's a classic story in fiction and in reality of men who historically just need to have sons to carry on their genes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you don't live forever, man.
Maybe it's okay.
Like it's okay if you don't. And it's also fine. You should also take the pressure off your kids so that they don't feel like they have to reproduce and keep your family name. Yep. Mom. Excuse me, I meant dad, but that's fine.
Excuse me, I meant dad. That's a good category. I think we should do that more often. Most improved and least improved.
Yeah.
Like who had an arc that like they actually worked on themselves, and who had one where they were like they got worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice. Or maybe like not even least improved, but like dug it in the most, like most obstinate, least changed. I don't know how to say it.
Okay. Well, arguably though, a competitor for most improved then in that case would be the fairy going from that weird stick bug into a fairy creature.
That was a glow up for sure.
Definitely a glow up.
Definitely.
Yeah. Because I mean, still kind of a disturbing fairy, but that bug, if you put that bug anywhere in the same building that I am in, I will leave that building and burn it down.
Yeah, that torch it for sure. Yeah,
that 100%. Bug was as big as my arm. No bug should be as big as
the bug. As big as me.
The bug as big as me. For real, so nasty. So the very definite improvement in terms of like going from zero to hero. That is a pretty good one. But the Fawn's teeth were pretty nasty too, and then they got better. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
What do you think is this isn't like specific to a character? What's the grossest thing in this movie?
And this is a movie with absolutely filled to the brim with nasty shit.
It is gross on gross on gross.
Yeah. That's so true.
I've got a vote, but I'm curious to see what you guys have to say.
Okay, we should all think of it and say it at the same time.
Okay.
I want to do that. I have one. I have my favorite one.
I have one that I'll pick. I don't know if I die on the hill of it being the grossest, but I'm just gonna.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Do we 3, 2, 1, then say it?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, say it.
3, 2 1. When the frog gets up his guts.
Yeah.
Shit. Really? Wait. No. I said knife in the mouth.
Oh.
You did frog throw up his guts?
I said frog when the frog goes the frog goes inside out. Okay.
Oh my god, the frog goes inside out.
2 for the inside out frog.
Wow. Yeah. See, and what's wild is that's not even in my like top 5.
Oh, that like
I just think it's
the whole time it was happening. I was like, nah, I want this to be done.
I mean, an easy way to get through it is if you pretend it's like the amber from Jurassic Park.
That's true. That is the color of its energy.
It is the color of its energy.
I quit this podcast. No two people can have that same idea and be safe around each other. It's just weaponizable. Oh no. That frog was nasty and it vomited its own self and that was gross, but like in a way that felt kind of cool and fun.
Yeah.
To me.
And to your point, the knife that was honestly the hardest for me to look at. So I guess that would be
the grossest. That's what I was thinking.
But it
the
also,
knife in the mouth is really tough.
Yeah.
But that is the word gross, I guess, is fairly distinct from just straight up disturbing or shocking or like I can't look at it.
If I was going for body horror, I would honestly say the guy getting his face bashed in with the bottle.
That's so bad.
Is probably more viscerally
That's so bad. And it goes on for so long.
Yeah.
There's so many cuts back to it. It's like, geez, Guillermo, come on.
For me, it'd be between that and him sewing up the knife cut.
That's pretty nasty.
That's pretty rough.
Because that's like, they linger on it for so long and it just looks real. Like it looks like he's actually puncturing his skin.
Yeah. Pretty bad.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Whereas the bottle, like I could see the CG this time. More so than I remember seeing when I first
You know
saw
what
it.
occurs to me?
What?
The Dark Knight has both a thing about a knife getting stuck in the Joker's cheeks and cutting him like that. But it also has that bit where Two-Face drinks from a small shot glass like that and has some like stuff dribble out the side, which is pretty much what happens to this guy when he drinks a shot after his mouth gets cut open.
Holy shit.
Some director love there.
Interesting.
And he's always asking everybody to solve riddles. And he was dressed in leather the whole time and had a whip.
David.
When was the last time you saw The Dark Knight?
Oh yeah, we're talking about the Dark Knight specifically. Hey, my bad, y'all.
I'm not saying that Pan's Labyrinth was the inspiration for all Batman characters.
Batman villains. He even said the words "I'm Batman" at one point in this movie. It was wild. It's the only English line in the whole thing.
There was that time when he was like, "Ice to meet you." So anyway, do you guys want to move on to another context?
Yes, please.
Yeah, baby.
What if this was made 20 years earlier, or, if applicable, 20 years later?
What if this had been made 20 years earlier, which would have been 1986? Because this movie was made in 2006. This is a little tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think what's kind of interesting is that I think the closest corollary to this movie in the 80s, and it's probably, I'm thinking of it because it has the word labyrinth in the title, but it's Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
Yeah. But it has a lot of the sort of like, it would have a lot of the same sort of fantastical creatures, the young female lead character, there's a baby chase.
Kind of upsetting gothic imagery, kind of.
Yep.
Lots.
Yep.
But definitely less oppressive and less threatening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
yeah. Well,
I don't know.
But like Labyrinth still feels like a family movie for a lot.
That's right.
I thought we were talking about if this was.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I'm saying, but if they made this in the 80s with that kind of aesthetic, I don't know that they would have been able to match. Like, Guillermo really wants to have that sort of like child fantastical energy, but pairing it with a dark real world where fucked up things happen.
Nasty stuff. Mm-hmm.
And in the 80s, it really felt more binary.
Yeah.
You know,
this would have been like a Clive Barker movie or Labyrinth.
Exactly.
It couldn't have been the two things.
It would have been Labyrinth or Leprechaun.
Yeah. I was going to say Leprechaun as an example. Yeah. Because it's gross.
It is gross.
It's gross. It's a fantastical thing that's silly in some ways, but it's also fucked up.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they would have been able to keep it out of the camp realm if they had done that in the 80s.
I got a word for you.
What's that?
Leprechaun. That's for you to have.
I'll keep it. Thank you. I will suck on that.
Suckle on the teat of the
I will
leprechaun.
I will suckle on Leprechaun.
Oh no.
That's a really good point, though. It's hard to make this movie not campy if it's just a horror movie.
Because it's such a distinctive tone.
Yeah.
It's like having this sort of level of allegory. And it's not to say that that kind of movie didn't exist. Obviously, there have been like, subtle allegorical films as long as there have been films that with a narrative. It's just that the way that he's choosing to do it pairs such an interesting tone of like, it's got the sort of historical war movie vibe. Going on one side of things. Mm-hmm. You got the childhood fantasy on the other, and then in the middle you've got this sort of like almost horror aesthetic that's combining the two, where you see the grotesqueries of war mixing with the grotesqueries under the heart of a fantastical realm with a bunch of monsters and like the fucking Mitch McConnell looking thing eating those fairies.
What a nasty man.
What a nasty man.
Yeah, a lot of the creature work and creature design wouldn't probably have to have changed that much.
No.
It all looks...
No, mostly it was practical.
Yeah, and the movie like itself just kind of seems kind of timeless. Like it doesn't seem of a certain time specifically.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It being
minus
like
the CG.
Right. Unfortunately, there are a couple points where it's like, dang, I wish they would have tried that practically.
Yeah.
But it's okay that they didn't. It was 2006. We forgive all sins that happened in the mid-2000s. That's what the Catholic Church said.
Yeah.
Very progressive Pope.
Yeah.
I mean,
no. Not in 2006, baby.
Yeah. No. I think... I really like that. I like I had never thought about that about Pan's Labyrinth before. That you said, okay, you've got the military sort of, war movie type thing over here where there are informants and there's espionage and danger and torture. And then you've got fairy tale. And both of them are gross. but in very different ways.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, that's a good thing that Guillermo did with
and both
this movie.
feature stories of heroism. You know, now that I think about it, there's a whole thing about the sort of story of heroism when they're at the dinner. And he's talking about, he tells the story about how his father, like the guy is telling the story about the captain's father, the general who broke his watch intentionally so that he could tell his son the minute he died, and that this is how a man dies in battle or whatever. And then it just being sort of like, and then him trying to carry that over at the end and trying to have that same brave moment, and then just being like, no, and just shooting him. Because like, fuck you. But also like, so it's not really a brave poetic moment. It's like you're in a war and someone's going to shoot you in the face. And
you don't get to have brave poetic moments in actual war. That's not.
And on the fantasy side of things, they're doing something similar, but it's sort of like in the inverse, where she desperately wants to have these sort of grand dramatic moments, this sort of like this narrative of her being this mystical princess and being able to fulfill these prophecies, but at the same time she has to get caked in mud and get confronted by a giant frog creature, and it ruins her dress and hurts her mom. And then there's the thing with the weird little mandrake thing that requires milk and blood.
And blood.
Then there's the monster creature with the fairies, and then the monster creature bites the fairies' heads off. It's like,
she gets shot in the gut.
Yeah. Well, then of course, she gets shot.
Right.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of brutality, even within the the fairy tale stories. That's a good point.
So it's it's sort of like a mirroring going on there.
Yeah.
What if it was made? This is 2026.
It would be in VR.
5 years from now, everything's in VR.
Yep.
You are Pan's Labyrinth. It's just a video game.
Yeah, co-production with Hideo Kojima.
But I would, though.
I would.
Holy shit.
Oh my god. Listen, now that they've worked together on a
Guillermo
couple
was
things,
in it.
He was in it. They were making Silent Hills, and then they're like, we can't do that because Konami sucks. So Kojima's like, can you work with me on this other thing? And he's like, hell yeah, dog. I want them to work together on everything from now on.
I really do actually want Pan's Labyrinth 2 in 10 years between those two old guys just doing it.
Yeah.
How great would it be if he convinced Guillermo Del Toro to take over the Metal Gear Solid movie? I know it won't happen, and it'll never happen. And as much as I do respect Jonathan Voight-Roberts, because he clearly loves the material, and I have a sneaking suspicion that he will put everything he can into making the movie good if he can.
I have a sneaking suspicion that...
I was just going to say, I feel like I have a sneaking suspicion is the tagline to the Metal Gear Solid movie.
But like, man, that would be fun.
Yeah,
I'd be really curious to see what he could do.
I want that.
I know.
I want that.
I want that.
I want that.
But even like...
But in the 80s...
Yeah.
Sorry. I was gonna say,
go ahead. No,
I was just going to say, like, the practical effects, like you were saying, would definitely be way more... it would have to be more practical just because they didn't have the CGI effects as much. I wonder
I think that would change it that much, though. Honestly.
No.
I think if anything, the creatures would probably be a little bit chunkier because they wouldn't be able to make them look as thin.
Yeah, because
it'd be a person in a suit.
Legs of Doug Jones, I'm pretty sure were CG when he was in Pale Man, Eyes in Hands.
There's had to have been.
I mean, he is a very skinny man, but not that skinny.
Right. There's a chance, and I don't know if this is because I've read about it somewhere or because my brain is thinking about it, but I feel like there's a chance that he was bundled up in the top of that suit and operating the legs with sticks.
It's like a stilt situation.
Yeah, because that could be. He could have been crouching in the top of it and not actually had his legs in the legs of it. But otherwise, there's no way they're that skinny.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know. He's just so tall. Like, that's the thing, is like imagining him being curled up in that thing.
But he's a flexible little guy.
That's true. He's about as flexible as it gets.
Yeah, he's Doug Jones.
I told you guys
he can be in anything.
Well, I've told you guys this, but probably the listeners don't know. I saw Pan's Labyrinth opening night at the Uptown, and Doug Jones was there to introduce it.
Wow, and he slithered out from under your seat and was like,
came
"Hello,"
out and started talking, and I was like, "Oh, it's Jack Skellington come to life."
No,
like,
for real.
Jesus.
Maybe we're going about this the wrong way.
Oh, thank God. Somebody said it.
Pale Man is inside Doug Jones
all along.
Yeah, and The Doug Jones that we see is a costume. Pale Man's in there.
Controlled by
and
the Pale Man.
And the only time we've ever seen his true form is Pan's Labyrinth.
That's deeply disgusting as
You're
an idea.
right.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
No problem. I love telling people that they're right.
Just a skin suit on top of a skin suit.
Man.
Hey, aren't we all, man? Let's do another context.
Yes, please.
Ship it. Who should have gotten together and why?
Pale Man and the Frog. All right.
Done.
One
One for each ghost.
One for each ghost. Fucking.
Pitch some fast food tie-ins for this movie.
Pitch some fast food tie-ins for Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes. Here we go.
All right.
Okay. Let's see. Some vodka that makes it feel like your mouth is bleeding.
Fast
food.
vodka.
Someone's gonna have fast food.
Like in
drinks.
Texas, right? Texas.
Yeah,
has
Texas.
fast
Texas
food.
has to have that.
So
right?
you can drive up and buy alcohol in some states and take it with you somehow. It's a thing. I don't know how, but it is.
Yeah.
It's wild. So that'd be fun. I was trying to think of the things people ate. Tobacco,
Big grapes.
big grape. Oh shit, big
big grapes.
grapes.
We great a lot of sliced
Grapes is
potatoes.
good.
There's a lot of
Lot of
sliced
sliced
potatoes.
potatoes. So potato slices.
Yeah, doing some like au gratin potatoes or something like
Well,
that.
I think potato olays, like from Taco John's
Okay.
specifically.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
okay.
the shape, yeah.
Because they can like cut them in front of you in their
Yeah.
peasant uniforms because they've really decked out the whole Taco John's to be like Pan's Labyrinth. Of course, it's great for business.
They could hook up with Panera for the rustic bread.
And Panera too. You know, it's
Oh.
perfect. It's perfect.
Oh,
yeah.
Here we go.
It's perfect,
Panera
yeah.
bread.
Yep,
There we
Panera
go.
bread,
Thank
yeah.
you.
And they could serve it and announce to you how wonderful their country is every time they give you some bread.
So you got these are Franco's bread loaves.
Yeah.
Gets a little weird at that
It
point.
does get a little weird, but it's
But,
still fun.
um,
So they're all in character all the time, just like at Panera.
Or Panera, panini, with a side of just the biggest fucking grapes they can get.
Yeah.
Oh, and there could be like a strawberry milkshake smoothie kind of thing, and that's supposed to be like the blood in the milk with the mandrake.
That's
Yes.
good. That's good. Yeah, the mandrake
Yes.
can be sitting in there.
Yeah, this would actually be a good
some
Jamba
props.
Juice. So you get some like
Oh, shit,
some
it
root
would.
vegetables, some milk, and some blood.
But the
slash
mandrake root is
cherry.
actually chilling in there. It's
Yeah.
not it's not
Exactly.
jamba'd up. It's just
Yeah.
in there whole. And you have to feed it blood, which is fun.
You got to feed it
It's
some
very
blood.
fun.
I think also at Panera, they have bread bowls, and a bread bowl filled with broccoli cheese soup looks a lot like that toad turning inside out, which is one of the more appetizing things
That's
in the
not
movie.
inaccurate.
Yeah.
So I think you could definitely have a fast food tie-in about that glop in general.
Yeah.
Like that could be so many things.
I mean, the kids' toys from this movie would be wild.
Yeah, there could be
Whoa.
a bottle with no smashing action.
Oh my god! And like no smashing.
It made it sound like no smashing action.
Yeah.
Like you
No
can't
smashing.
smash
Yeah, you
this
can't
bottle.
smash it.
no smashing. Doesn't break.
Because that would be so much better than the actual thing.
And a little slapping game, like a little slapping game like Hungry Hippos, but instead there's a bunch of eyeballs rolling around, and it's 4 pale mans, and they're trying to put the eyes into
Yeah.
their hands. Slap, 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 and when you get 2, then you win, and you get to eat the other kids. It's fun.
Sure.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like it.
I assume he was going to eat her. I mean, like
That seemed to be the vibe.
that
yeah.
was. I don't think
Yeah.
they were going to hug or hang. I think it was
No.
an eat
Yeah, it
situation.
seemed
seemed pretty bad.
Didn't
Yeah.
seem interested in any of the fruit or
But he
any
had-
of the other food
He
in front
had
of
so
him.
much nice food. I don't understand. That's the real mystery.
Like that's what makes him Mitch McConnell. Is like he wasn't gonna eat that food anyway, but he's
Yeah.
still pissed when people eat it.
God, fucking Mitch. Man, he really is. Mitch McConnell.
What was it you said when somebody taking a handout? Or
Yeah, somebody get a free handout.
Yep,
get a free-
that's truly why he gets
and
pissed.
that's why he wakes up.
He doesn't care that they came in and took that big knife. He cared that they got that food for free. Mitch, I hate him so much.
I know. Me too. Shit.
Yeah. Yep.
One thing about a podcast as small as ours, I have no problems. Even if we were a huge podcast,
yeah,
because
who
it's Mitch
cares?
McConnell.
It's Mitch
Who doesn't hate
Everybody
Mitch
fucking
McConnell?
hates Mitch
Yeah.
McConnell.
Yeah,
I hope his family hates him.
yeah.
They better. Hey, Mitch McConnell's family, we know you listen. You better hate him.
Broadcast this out to Mitch McConnell's family. Hope you fucking hate that guy as much as we do.
What if Uncle Mitch is like What if he had to be in your family? God, that's too scary. We can't talk about
that.
That's too scary.
Yeah, we're talking about horror movies, not like fucking...
not like horror lives.
Yeah. No, thank you. God, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Back to fast food. Let's see. What other...
So we have a lot of different stores participating in this.
Yeah, we do. Which is good.
Well, let's maybe go a little more abstract because we're trying to focus on the food that's actually in the movie. But let's think about like, because a lot of times fast food tie-ins will just be like a thing that they already have, but they sort of like maybe they put a different colored sauce on it to make it look like a creature or like just something sort of tying it in.
What there could be like a salad that's like supposed to be like a pan salad.
A salad would be good. Yeah, salad would be good. With some like maybe some like spinach, like some heavy greens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe some apricots to symbolize the stones.
Oh, there we go. Going into the frog that is you.
Yeah.
You are the frog.
Yes.
That's
and then
nice
you turn inside out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With happiness because you love the salad so much.
Yeah. And you get a key. It's a prize.
Yeah, you do vomit a key.
Every salad contains a little key in it.
It's like a king cake. You find the key, you have good luck. You eat the key. Well, sorry, you're a frog.
That's not great luck, but you know.
Not great luck, but you will probably get to live underground and eat bug.
Yeah.
Eat bug.
Eat bug. Subway, eat bug.
Bugway, eat bug.
Bugway, eat bug. Thank you. That's a significantly better joke.
I don't know if it's better, but it is more fun to say.
I like it a lot more.
Okay. What about...
Yeah.
I hate this idea. Sometimes I hate my ideas, but I say them anyway like I like them. This one I just fucking hate.
Do it.
Like a steak at a shitty steakhouse that the commercial is like loading it up with a bunch of steak sauce, and then you eat it, and then half of your mouth has red on the side of it because you put it right in your mouth, and then you look like the guy when his mouth got cut off.
Would that be like ribs? Maybe ribs?
Ribs is good.
Ribs is good.
Because people don't eat steaks with their mouth.
You know what I like? I think ribs is good.
You do eat steaks with your mouths. But ribs is good.
Because it gets all over.
It gets all over.
It's hard to eat ribs the right way and not get a mess on your face.
But there's no wrong way to eat ribs.
That's true.
It's true.
It's hard to eat them the right way, but there's no wrong way to eat them.
But you know what they make the ribs look like?
What?
Like that guy's leg that gets cut off.
Oh, God.
Jeez. So you have to like saw people's legs off. Jeez.
Good Lord.
Wow. That is immersive theater. That's good stuff.
Just people just throwing up at their table. It's like, oh, I love this. Such an experience.
Yeah. I want a beer and I want you to smash my face with it.
But I feel like an ice cream sundae of some sort where it's like some vanilla and then you put some like cherry or strawberry kind of like icing on it and then just a couple eyeballs on top.
That's fun.
Would look a lot like that guy.
Yeah, you're not right. Like that guy.
The pale man or
that
whatever.
Guy.
I mean, no matter what, anything served in a bowl with also a mandrake root hanging in it just seems so fun.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Some like rice pudding or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be good.
Yeah.
That could be good.
Yeah. 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 Let's think of a fast food place.
Yep.
And think of what their specific Pan's Labyrinth food tie-in would be.
BK.
Okay.
Burger
Bonky
King.
Kong.
Bonky Kong.
Okay,
Perfect.
BK. One thing we do know that they will do for certain things sometimes is they'll bust out the black buns.
That's true.
You're right.
So we know they'll do that.
We know they have black food coloring.
Yes.
We know
That's
that.
really
We know
good
this.
to know, actually.
We know this.
That's an important part of this process.
Okay.
All right.
So go ahead.
Oh, we both owed at the same time.
Hasselhoff.
That never happened.
Did you say David Hasselhoff?
Maybe.
It's possible. David Hasselhoff.
Oh, it's a dead-ass impression. It's perfect. Wow, it's too good. Wait, everyone slow it down. He'll sound just like David Hasselhoff. Oh, my good God. Chicken fries, but they're called fawn fingers.
Nice.
Oh.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because he's got those long little digits.
Yeah, those creepy little digits.
Yeah, and you can eat them.
Yeah.
You
creepy
eat them.
creepy.
You eat them. Fawn fingers. You eat them. And they're like dyed black or green or whatever the fuck. Because they have to look gross and they have little nails on them. But the nail is like, I don't know what. Actually, that's kind of gross. What could you make a nail out of on a chicken fry?
Probably nothing.
Yeah.
Unless like
Probably nothing.
There is nothing better than, hey, what can we come up with? And first brainstorm, probably nothing.
I'm just gonna.
That's probably nothing, and then immediately continuing to
Even
no
better.
and period.
So good, so good.
Well, maybe they could like peel off part of the breading on the top and make it look like a fingernail that way.
Yeah, but peel it off. But it's still
Yeah.
breading. It's
But
not
it's
like
still-
a separate.
I'm gonna peel
Yeah.
the breading
Yeah.
off. We watched Face Off this weekend.
Congratulations.
It was delightful.
That's a big deal.
Because I had an idea too.
Yeah.
Oh,
do
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
ooh.
for my ooh.
What was your ooh?
Well, it's a more modern thing. Obviously, it wouldn't have been time appropriate, but BK does at this point have the Impossible Whopper.
True.
And I think if they were to do the Impossible Burger with the black bun and like some greens on there, like we were talking about with the
Kinda
salad sort of
nasty.
situation, they could make it kind of look like almost like a little mossy, like this sort of stone,
Yeah.
it goes down into
Like
the labyrinth.
It looks like the labyrinth.
Exactly, and it's impossible, and it's like a fantasy burger or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. Like
it's
it's like a
Nice.
the
Yeah.
magical land burger, Impossible Lands burger.
Right.
Um,
I think that you could because people do have a stamp that looked like the labyrinth and stamp the top of the bun with it.
yeah.
Fucking stamp the top of the bun.
Fucking stamp the top of the fucking
stamp it.
You know, I feel like a lot of our bits just evolve into us just making like weird aggressive noises.
Yeah,
I love it though.
Hey,
like that's my favorite.
it's good for us.
I have a great time.
It's so good for me.
It sounds like we're having a great time.
That's my favorite non-compliment. I don't know if many fast food places have fruit snacks as an option, but little fairy fruit snacks would be good. Like so you can just be like, "Arr," that's like
Oh my god!
chew off the
You
fairies.
could do like nuggets or something that were
Or
fairy
nuggies.
shaped. Nuggies. But I love a fruit snack, like because that's the
Yeah.
look. That
Yeah.
you want
That's the look.
is-
yeah.
oh,
You got
man.
the look.
You got the look. Hey, what was the fawn eating? What was that meat that the fawn was consuming?
I don't know. It looked like just
Like
just
jerky
looked like some
or
loose
something.
meat,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, just looked like some loose beef tenderloin or something.
Yeah, kind of Arby's.
Hey,
Arby's. It's just called.
You know what?
What the fawn eats.
An Arby's sandwich kind of just looks like the fat folds on the pale guy. So,
Oh shit.
Shit, now I really want some Arby's.
That's so. What I'm picturing is I walk into an Arby's.
uh-huh.
And they've got all those digital displays that at this point are not static. They are digital LCD TVs that can have shifting images on them.
Okay.
And
This is more advanced than any Arby's I've walked into.
this is the best one. this is not RBs. This is RAs.
Oh.
And
Oh.
we got the whole display panorama of the pale man laying down and a bunch of different buns on different sections of his body that look like Arby's meat. And then at the very end where it's his head, he's giving you a little thumbs up with his eye hand. Yep. And it says Arby's. He's winking.
Oh
He's
my
winking.
god, that's so gross. I love it.
And Arby's goes out of business.
I'd eat it. All right, I think we pitched some great fast food companies. Get in touch with us. We've got all the ideas.
Yeah,
Man.
I just want to apologize to the listeners.
I hope you were not eating while you listened.
I don't
to
know.
this
I hope it's
episode.
lunchtime, baby.
Yeah.
Yum yum. Get you some Arby's.
I'm never gonna eat Arby's again.
All right, let's move on to another context.
Twist. This movie is a stealth sequel to something. What is it a sequel to, and how do they connect?
What is it a sequel to?
Yeah, I was gonna
Hey,
What's a sequel to? Man,
what's
she
the
got really
sequel to
folksy.
How to Connect?
She got really folksy.
Yeah, I got very folksy there.
Hey, what's
hey
this a sequel
folks,
to?
Pan's Labyrinth, it turns out, was a stealth sequel to something.
Labyrinth.
What?
I mean, okay,
I
let's
mean, that's
talk
the most
about it.
obvious
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
talk
we've
about
already
it.
done.
Okay,
We've
you're
already
right.
done.
We've fucking done it.
We've done it.
We've done it.
We've done it.
Oh,
It's done now.
it's David Hasselhoff again.
Hasselhoff.
He's back, baby. Yeah, everyone's favorite character.
Yes, no.
Regular impression of David
David
Hasselhoff
Hasselhoff.
guy.
I've been hanging out with Prankster Simpson.
Oh no, she's
Oh,
back.
Jesus.
I don't even remember what she sounds like.
Sort of like that, but more like gross.
Probably more nasty. Well, let's see. What sort of movies could Narnia?
Okay.
Okay.
Because of the fawn. The
Sure.
fawn in the beginning of Narnia gets real old.
James
He
McAvoy.
gets real gross. And he starts but has the same vibe of invite little girl into your life and sort of trick her and then sort of be angry and then later nice.
Isn't that a World War II set thing, or am I just thinking?
No,
of,
it's
okay.
definitely. I think it's World War One.
Okay, because the magicians did that,
Yeah.
sort of their version of that.
But it definitely
I can
like
never
the
remember which.
opening
Now I can no
of
longer remember which is
Narnia
which.
is the kids having to go to their grandparents in the country because of the bombings.
Okay.
And then they find the wardrobe and they go in there. So yes, there was war in Narnia too. Like there's connection there.
Absolutely.
Was this World War II? What war was this in Pan's
This was
Labyrinth?
so 1938. So it
Okay,
would've
so
been
it-
The Spanish Civil War.
Spanish
Yeah.
Civil War, which is kind
Before
of like
World War II,
slightly
actually.
before, and then sort of overlaps with World War II.
Gotcha.
Yeet.
Rough time.
Yeah,
You know,
really
not
bad
a great
time.
time for anyone.
Yeah, and if you didn't like fascism, real rough.
Yeah, bad.
real tough.
Yeah, tough for pretty much
No
everybody
idea
that
what
wanted
that's
them.
like.
Yeah.
Living in a place where fascism is happening when you really don't want it to be.
Hard to, it's impossible to know.
Who would ever know? But yeah, so I think that's a connection that I hadn't thought of.
Yeah,
but that's
it's actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, and it does have a Narnia vibe. It's
does.
much crueler, obviously, than Narnia, but maybe it's kind
it's
of
like someone
made as
trying to get into Narnia and not being able to,
Oh,
unlike the
shit.
kids in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe
Yeah.
who stumble into Narnia.
they just bonk into it.
Yeah.
they just trip their way in.
Narnia
It's
made
like
it
a-
harder to get in.
His Dark Materials style kind of
Yes.
take on it.
I mean, it does actually feel like that.
Yeah.
If you think that Guillermo was like Narnia, no, I've got your Narnia right here, and then he like points to his butthole or something, and it's also this amazing movie that's nothing like a butthole.
Well, maybe it's a class critique of the Narnia films.
Okay.
Maybe it's like we were just saying, those kids stumbled into Narnia and got to be fucking kings and
Yeah, these
queens.
rich little British assholes. Yeah.
Whereas this girl has to she is doing so much work, like manual labor.
Yeah.
And
The only way she can
risking her
truly get
life
into
to
Narnia
get
is
the opportunity to go there, and then she has to like sacrifice herself.
The only true
like,
release is
sacrifice
death.
everything to
Yep.
get there.
Yep, that's it.
And what's her
Damn.
reward? She gets to sit on a chair that's really high off the ground.
Yeah, like disturbingly high off the ground.
Like how is she supposed to get up there off
Those
the ground?
chairs
Yeah.
move, right? They gotta go up
They
and
gotta.
down like the
Like-
chairs on the merry-go-round.
Like, where the fuck is OSHA high off the ground?
Yeah, like that fawn has closed-toed hooves, but like I don't
Closed-toed
see a
hooves.
safe ladder. Jeez.
So let's start referring to all horses' hooves as closed-toed hooves.
It's OSHA safe, baby. That's all I'm saying. They get it.
Compliant.
Okay.
So Narnia.
Narnia's one, and I like that. I think that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
The idea that it is a stealth sequel to Narnia.
Yeah.
But the movies.
Right.
Not Tolkien. Or not Tolkien. Sorry.
C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis.
His buddy.
His buddy.
His buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy.
His buddy.
And Narnia was a response to Lord of the Rings, wasn't it?
I thought it was the other way around.
Was it the other way around?
I can't remember. 'Cause
Oh, well,
we-
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because he was like, you can't make Jesus a freaking
a lion. I'm going to make him a wizard instead.
Yeah, you're being ridiculous, fool. My guy's a wizard.
My
Yeah.
guy's-
He's a wizard. It's cool.
Does
It's
fireworks and stuff.
better.
Yeah,
Your
he's-
lion didn't do fucking
He's
fireworks.
definitely a real wizard. No one would contend otherwise.
Yeah. Not a pothead that just likes fireworks a lot.
Yeah, who just tricked a bunch of
Impossible.
rubes into thinking he could do magic with basic engineering.
It's the truest take on Lord of the Rings that exists. It's so true.
I have yet to feel wrong about it.
Yeah.
I will never feel wrong about it.
I will never apologize.
That's it. That's the hill I'm dying on. It's right there.
See, the tricky thing about it making it a stealth sequel is that it's set in 1938, so the sequels would have to be something that came before that. So it has to
Like
be a
Wizard of
movie that
Oz?
has to be set earlier.
Okay.
Be
The Wizard of Oz
Yeah.
actually does qualify.
Yeah.
It qualifies. True.
That's a fair point.
And it's another girl going to a fantastical world. And
True. And death is a prominent part of her adventure as well.
Yeah.
In that she gets there by dropping a house on a woman
Yeah, and stealing her shoes.
and stealing her shoes.
Yeah, damn.
But she's the good one.
But she's the good one.
Yeah.
So there's some of that. So maybe the fantastical world. So what it comes down to then is, in this scenario, the fantastical world is literally real. Like that's the only way we can do one of these stealth sequels with like Oz or Narnia. It's the world that this girl is trying to get to is an actual fictional world, like fictional in our sense, but I just mean like an actual world that she can get to. Like all of this is really happening.
Yeah.
What if the world that she gets into at the end that we barely see any of? So this would make it more like a stealth sequel in the sense that like Split is a stealth sequel to
which was the inspiration for this context.
And it's just like the very, very end. And I noticed that there were some pointy ears and stuff. What if it's a stealth sequel to the world of Ferngully?
Why not? Why not?
Right?
I mean, there are logistical problems in the sense that Ferngully...
Name fucking one.
Yeah, one.
Never mind.
There you go.
We did it. We Fox News'd him again.
I just don't want conflict. Let me go.
It's in the text, Christian.
Fine, it's in the text.
No, okay. No, I love Ferngully. Everybody knows this.
I mean, it's
now they do.
It's very well known about.
Yeah. And I think there are the fairies actually lots of similarities between the fairies, like the little is she a fairy in Ferngully? What is she called?
I think they're fairies.
I thought so, but now I'm second guessing myself.
Are they
sprites?
Gullies?
Yeah, they're gullies, I believe, yeah.
Definitely not ferns, those are plants.
No, those were the plants.
I almost said ferns and then I remembered they were
Nope.
Yeah.
Those are the plants from Ferngully.
I know.
And Gully is either the name of the fairies or Robin Williams' whack bat character.
Oh, no.
I think his name was Batty, actually.
I think
which
it was Batty.
More than
very
any
lazy.
joke we could make about it.
Yeah.
Come on.
The only thing I remembered from Ferngully for most of my life was a joke specifically done by that character, and literally right now I cannot think of it.
That's okay. It probably wasn't very good. Was it good?
I don't know.
Oh no.
I can't remember now.
Who's to say? Oh man, Robin Williams would be so disappointed in you.
Oh, it was only fools are positive. Are you sure? I'm positive.
Oh yeah. I think that's in the trailer.
Oh yeah, that's probably why I remember it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Good job, Robin.
It was probably some VHS you had that had the trailer on it, and that was just a line.
I mean, I did watch the movie several times as a kid. It was one of my favorites.
Yeah. So Ferngully is this movie's a stealth sequel to Ferngully, and the way that that's revealed is one through the pointy ear at the end thing.
Yep.
But also like maybe through like some subtle hints of Ferngully maybe eventually gets destroyed and turned into the ground where this movie takes place.
Yeah.
Like, and these are the last fairies that exist.
Again, I have to the giant machine in Ferngully that tears the forest
Fantasy
down.
machine. Separate universe. Star Wars, long time, far, far away.
True. I guess it would be more of a
Okay.
stealth prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Which
where, that's
I
where it
feel
would
like
be.
Yeah.
And we can
almost
do that.
can
That would definitely be easier
Yeah.
for all of the options that we have on the table.
True.
Just
True.
about.
True.
Which I'm not opposed to either. I'm not opposed to. Just saying that's technically what that would be.
You're not,
Actually,
you're not wrong.
Ferngully's a fun one, but
I mostly just love the idea that the little fairies, those three little fairies, are the last fairies from Ferngully that ever exist. Like Ferngully also has to kind of have an alternate ending in this particular thing where they get destroyed and displaced. Like maybe it's Ferngully the director's cut where
we
it's
don't know
really
what happens
depressing.
after Ferngully.
That's true.
That's true. Well, there was, I think, a sequel to Ferngully that nobody saw.
We don't know what happens after Ferngully.
Yeah, maybe in Ferngully too, get gullied more.
Get Gully.
Get Gully more.
Get gullied again.
Gully.
Back for the Gully Boys. They
The
all
Legend of Gully's Gold.
they all get driven out. They get displaced, and it was meant to be like an Empire Strikes Back middle act, and they would have come back and reclaimed it in the third one, but they never got to make the third one. And the they I'm talking about is Guillermo Del Toro, and so he made Pan's Labyrinth instead. So not only are we saying that Pan's Labyrinth is a Ferngully stealth sequel, but that we know what happened in Ferngully 2, and that it was meant to be an Empire Strikes Back, and they get displaced and they come back in the third one, but he never got to make that movie, and the he I'm referencing is Guillermo.
Perfect. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think
we nailed this.
I did just think of one more that's a little bit
Good? Is it good?
It's pretty good.
Say it.
So I can't remember exactly at what point in history this movie takes place, but you mentioned while we were watching the film, and I agree with you, that a lot of parts of Pan's Labyrinth have big Tarsem Singh's The Fall energy. And I think the idea that this is taking place in the same universe as The Fall
Holy shit, actually.
makes a lot of sense.
I like that a lot.
And that the little girl from The Fall is somehow maybe related to this little girl.
They have a similar
They have a very similar energy.
Yeah. Ophelia is more contemplative and not as adventurous in her demeanor, like in personality. But they'd be friends.
Guys, what if it's a stealth sequel to Michael Clayton? Folks, thank you so much for listening to Contextual TV.
You should always try to make it a stealth sequel to Michael Clayton. Please make that your thing.
Oh, man. This has been a blast of an episode, you guys. We did it. We talked about Pan's Labyrinth, a beloved film which we spent a lot of time clearly focusing on and stayed on very succinctly.
Incredible.
We talked about it through various contexts. We said we came up with some fast food tie-ins.
We did.
We
talked about whether it would be different if it was made 20 years earlier or 20 years later or whatever.
Very true.
Yeah, we talked about what movies would be stealth sequels and I guess prequels.
Yeah. And we gave out some superlatives.
Hey.
We did.
Yeah,
Wow.
My favorite of which is, or the one I stand by the most strongly, is still that guy had the worst hat.
Yes.
One of the worst
Pretty
hats I've just
bad.
ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, they just gave up.
But enough of that. We talked about the movie enough. I mean, no one can talk about this movie enough. But we talked about it in ways that no one will ever talk about it again, presumably.
I hope no one's actually considering making Arby's signs that we described.
I mean, I would.
Please don't do this, Arby's.
I would love this.
Actually, Arby's, please do this.
Arby's, please do this.
Arby's, listen, please do this.
But in the meantime, while Arby's is working on that, David, did you have anything you'd like to plug?
I think I do. One Hypotheticast. I'm on it. It's fun. We make jokes. We do Would You Rathers. It's hypothetical stuff. Listen to it. If you like me, then you will. Or, at least give it a shot if you like me. You don't have to like the show or listen to it ever if you don't like me. But give it a shot. And two, the website justfor.fans. For all you people that may or may not use OnlyFans for work or for play, whatever. They're a bunch of buttholes. Move over there.
But you're not able to find the buttholes on there if that's what you're looking for.
No, you can't.
Anymore.
That's the problem.
So,
but this one's been it's the second most used by sex workers. It's run by sex workers and queer people, and it's a lot safer for those reasons because they can actually afford to pay lawyers that care about the right things.
Nice.
that's right. Sex work is work.
Ba-bam.
Yes.
Bon?
Do you think sex work is work?
Yes.
That
God,
did
yes.
sort of. It's in the text, Bon.
Is it in the text?
Of course, I think sex work is work.
Of course you do.
Obviously.
But
Did sort of sound like we were asking him that, though.
But I'm going to do something kind of unprecedented in terms of what I have done in the past. I'm just going to repeat what I said last time.
Oh, hell
Because I
yeah.
am worried about this show. But The Owl House, please stream it, watch it,
Is it okay?
do whatever you can. It is kind of on the chopping block.
Oh, shit.
Kind of twofold. There's moms that are upset about the witchcraft of it all.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, like moms.org made a whole
Jeez,
stink of
yeah.
it, and they get listened to too readily by these people. And then also there's LGBTQ themes, which is another thing that gets
Moms
a lot of
also
shows
hate.
canceled before they should be.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just a wonderful, wonderful show. Can't recommend it enough. It's on Disney Plus. Little girl goes into a magical world, lives with a witch and her cat, dog, bone demon thing, and their little talking owl door knocker. That is a delight.
Beautiful.
Hootie. Yeah.
Hootie.
It's
Yeah.
a wild show.
You got to check it out. It's so good.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
I really do need to check it out.
You do.
Yes.
It's on Disney Plus.
I'm the reason
Yes.
it is getting canceled.
The Owl
I haven't
House.
watched it.
Yes,
The Owl House.
it's all David's fault.
They're like, we don't have the David market. What are we going to do?
So pressure David. That's the plug. Everyone pressure David.
Don't
to
go
The Owl
watch
House.
it. Just send me messages about how I should watch it.
Yes. And Christian, do you have anything?
Well, thank you for asking. I found out recently that Spotify no longer has a user search function.
It's so cool.
So you can't look me up by my playlist anymore.
Garbage.
You would have to go to open.spotify/ I think it's /users/audio suede.
God, it's really remarkable
annoying.
how Spotify, every time it gets an update, just removes the things that people like about it.
Yeah, every
and
time.
doesn't add better things.
Every time.
It just hides them away for no reason.
I've tweeted at them about specific changes that they made, like, hey, instead of like adding like the heart favorite button, maybe let me skip to the next song instead because you took that button away.
What about some controls for the music I'm listening to? Good God.
To their credit, literally like within like 2 or 3 days, it had switched back.
They did? Oh, they must have heard from a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I was sort of just spitballing, trying to remember what the URL is to get to my playlist. It's open.spotify/user/audio suede. I got it exactly right,
That's
which
not
is great.
as clunky as it could be.
No,
but
it's
still
super
sucks.
clunky.
Like,
But yeah,
that's-
audio
you
suede,
shouldn't have to go to a
AUDIOSUED.
No one should
I
have to
spend a
type
lot
on a
of time
fucking
making
website.
playlists, probably
Yeah.
too much time. I've been making cover art for them.
Yeah, dude.
I like spend a lot of time on them. I've been adding to them. There's been a lot of good stuff this year
It's good
that I've been able
curation.
to slot some stuff in. It's been a lot of fun. So
Slot it up.
and then my pop culture recommendation, I can't remember if I brought it up ever before because it's been a while. I like dropped off of it and then jumped back on and then just like absorbed it. But the video game Indivisible.
Oh.
If you're a fan at all of RPGs, action games, or platformers with hand-drawn animation, delightful characters, very fun voice performances. It's a very funny script. It has one of the most innovative combat systems in an RPG I've ever seen, where you have 4 characters and they correspond to the 4 face buttons you have, and depending on how you hit them and in what order and like what direction they're facing and whatever, they do different moves. Whoa. And so you can just create these amazing combo attacks and stuff, and all the different characters have these great personalities, and leveling up is super easy. It's literally just attack and defense are the only 2
ask
things.
if leveling up was complicated. This game's perfect.
It's literally just 2 stats. It's attack and defense. Those are the only 2 you have to worry about.
And it's genuinely funny.
It's genuinely funny.
Where is this game?
And like the
been?
platforming is like
It sounds amazing.
really, really good. It's
Wow.
it's not easy, but it's
That's
super
okay.
fun and it's super worth. If you're into games, I recommend it
I'm
to
into
just about
games.
anybody.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Metroidvania RPG sort of, like the way that the
cool. I'm into
platforming
that. Yeah.
and map kind of works out.
There's a lot of exploration, a lot of secrets to
A lot of
find,
backtrack kind of stuff.
a lot of backtracking, unfortunately, but
secrets.
different environments.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Indivisible. Highly recommended. And honestly, if there's ever been a game that's more perfect for a Steven Universe tie-in, a Steven Universe game set in the Indivisible engine would be the greatest game. Okay. I can't keep saying
It
things
would
like
be
that,
the
but I
greatest
want it so bad.
But
it would be the
yes, I
perfect
desire
pairing, certainly.
There you go. Like a good wine and a good rib.
Like a good wine and a good rib. You know what, David? You're so right.
Yeah, I just nailed it again.
And, I think that's a perfect note for us to lead out to the final question, which is the thing we do every week. Thank you all so much for listening. In the meantime, David, did you have any final thoughts you would like to leave us with?
Every child likes an ice cream.
Thank you for listening to Contextual Deviance. You can find more information about us online at our website, contextualdeviance.wordpress.com. You can tweet at us at TextDeviance. You can email us at contextualdeviance@gmail.com. Thanks to Minneapolis' own The Badman for the use of their song Gun Tonic off the album Ain't Clean. This has been Contextual Deviance. My name is Christian Hagen, and have a nice day. Have a nice day!
It sucks.
This is the best
It's the
idea.
worst joke. Well, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Can I tell you
I'll
something?
do it. What?
I'm probably just going to use you explaining just dead right there. So how about we do a thing where I've got my pants all over the room and you walk around as pants labyrinth? That's probably just going to be the
Yeah, honestly, I think that's
No,
great.
that's funnier than us actually trying to do it. I think you're right.
Yeah.
God damn it.